Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So, as promised, this video is about Luke 14. We're going to go down to verse 25. This section is about the cost of being a disciple. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because this section proves that I'm Christ and that it's insane not to understand that. And that has everything to do with what happened in Stockton and what's still happening. So I first like to point out that the word tower is a play on words for to where, right? To where are you going? Where, W-E-R, means the great one, and W-H-E-R-E, right? To where are you going? And to where, W-E-A-R. So where are you going, right? Is it the Tower of Babel? Are you the wise or are you the foolish builder? Now notice I'm speaking a lot more fluently here with a lot more ease because I'm actually outside of my vehicle and there's a bit of fresh air here for now. But almost certainly they're going to start filming me soon, so let's wrap this up here. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them, he said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple. And whoever doesn't carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple." Let's stop right here. In this shooting that occurred, there are people who are risking their lives being gang members. They're risking the lives of the people around them. And the government and the governing class set them up to a T to make that mistake because they're building the tower of arrogance, right? Lucifer's been compared to a deity of pride time and time again, right? A lot of people try to make the distinction between Lucifer and Satan. Lucifer is simply a form of Satan. It's the component of Satan that is proud. And proud and trying to put on a show like rich people and, some kind of suit-wearing organization with a crest or with the Freemason, in Freemasonry, what have you. So proud, arrogant people who like to scapegoat the poor. So what does it mean to hate your father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, what have you? Well, when love comes into contact with rebels, the spirit of love hates them, and by your actions you hate them. For example, you might disown them if they don't obey God through me. If you love God, you then therefore hate them in that sense. You hope that they repent, but you don't favor them. In the Old Testament it says, Jacob he loved, Esau he hated. Did God really hate Esau? Not in the way that you might think, right? He hated Esau in the form of not choosing him and letting Jacob take his birthright. That story is one of the most confusing stories in the Bible. And the story is not about the Jews cheating Esau and his descendants as much as you might think. It's about the Jews cursing themselves to lose the kingdom of heaven because Jacob cheated Esau and because of things like that and all their other sins, instead of treating Esau fairly and having his descendants end up with the birthright in a way that's fair and square, if such a thing could occur. That's what that story's about. So one must choose God over their family. We also see here that there's a formula that helps me choose who's going to go to heaven and who isn't. Did they put God before their family? For example, if those children who were killed were outside the divine order, which they were, if that means that they're not going to heaven, should the parents then get very angry and decide to rebel against God because they want to go to the same place as their children? No, they should not. I'm not going to weigh in this video about what is going to happen to those children. That's not what this video is about. But I will say that I feel very sad that the event occurred, and that one must put justice over pity. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, Everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Let's stop right there. First of all, Matthew 6, it says, store riches in heaven, not on earth. We see in Revelation, right? They're supposed to buy gold from Christ in terms of obeying Christ and storing riches in heaven. And the gold can symbolize wisdom. We see that in the Bible. And wisdom, which is the fruit of the righteous. And righteousness is the fruit of righteous people using wisdom to continue to be righteous, to bring forth righteousness, what have you. So as these people are building the Tower of Babel, they're building the tower of cheating me out of my right to lead us, the churches, the mosques, the synagogues, every group you can imagine are behaving like Pharisees and teachers of the law, full of hypocrisy and wickedness, making people twice the child of hell as they are. They're not going to be able to finish it because they're going to go to hell. And their building is going to be a sick joke. Thus the word ridicule, thus the tower is a phallic symbol, and in the word ridicule you see the word dick. And it's not funny. I'm saying this so you understand what's going on. Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Let's stop right there. Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. This is about who is above who. Right? Store riches in heaven. Put on the armor of God. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness' sake. The throne is established in righteousness. So suppose somebody of this world, a gang leader, a president, a military leader, the Pope, is about to go to war, as they basically are at war with me, against another king, a true king of God in this case. Won't he first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? This goes back to Joel, where it says there's a mighty army in the spiritual realm that's greater than any army there ever has been in the world, any army that there is, and any army that there ever will be. So with the army of God with me, are they able to wage war against God and his Son? No. God doesn't need me or the army. But here I am, and in the spiritual realm, there's an army. How do we know there's an army? We know because 189,000 people die every day and go to hell. We know because there's various forces of nature. There's the sun. There's water. There's earthquakes, there's hurricanes, there's tornadoes, there's tsunamis, there's volcano eruptions, right? Volcanic eruptions. We know that God uses these things to accomplish his task, as he uses beings in the spiritual realm to accomplish his task as well. If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still a long way off, and ask for terms of peace. Ask for terms of peace. This is what it means when it says, blessed are the peacemakers. So how do you make peace? You obey God through me. Whoever does not gather with me scatters. And if you scatter, you are waging war against me. And you are not able to wage war against me because I'm the Son of God. Because I'm in the Spirit of God and his love and his vengeance. You name it. I'm one with God, and my flesh is just my flesh. The Bible says the Spirit is everything, the flesh means nothing. In the same way, those of you who do not give up everything you have cannot be my disciples. In the same way, if you do not obey God and I first and foremost, you cannot be my disciples, and you cannot go to heaven. Salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is neither for the soil nor the manure pit, it is thrown out. So if you don't have the zeal for the Lord, if you don't keep the greatest commandment, loving God with all your heart, if you don't understand the golden rule and keep it, then you go down to the pit with the rest of the filth that is far too indecent and corrupt and wicked to love God and to honor God. Let me just quickly read to you Joel 3, verse 8 And we'll read quite a few verses here and we'll wrap this up here. And keep in mind before I read this, that narrow is the way to life, broad is the way to destruction. Right? Very few find the way of life. The Bible warns you there. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law, Matthew 23, you're warned there. And ask yourself, what does it mean to take on the top martial arts ever possible? That overkills my point. The valley of my decision on God's behalf and in His Spirit, aka the valley of God's decision. And God put me in charge. We said in the book of John, I will sell your sons and daughters to the people of Judah, and they will sell them to the Sabaeans, a nation far away. The Lord has spoken. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war. Rouse the soldiers. Let all the fighting men draw near and attack. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Again, the word spirit is a play on words for spear it. Let the weaklings say, I am strong. Come quickly, all you nations, from every side and assemble there. Bring down your warriors, Lord. Let the nations be roused. Let them advance into the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge the nations on every side. Swing the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come trample the grapes, for the winepress is full and the vats overflow. So great is their wickedness. So what's happening right now? It's in Revelation 2. There's a harvest. There's also a continual harvest in a sense. There's a bunch of harvests every day, every moment of every day, really. There's 189,000 people die every day. And they die outside the divine order. And their fruits, right? You know them by their fruits. True and false prophets, true and false disciples, Matthew 7. Their fruits are the fruits of obeying the churches and the state and other organizations and not obeying God through me. It says, so great is their wickedness, right? They're grapes, right? The grapes make the wine. The wine represents what you live and die for, what you fight for. You see that in the story of the Last Supper, the communion, the Mass, where it says, drink this wine to remember me and to remember the blood that was shed, the blood of the prophets, the blood of Christ, what have you. Why was it shed? It was shed because of what Christ as a character in the story lived and died for. And I'm Christ in reality. And like it says in the book of John, the miracles are figurative because the speech is figurative. That includes the word. And the kingdom of heaven is not a matter of mere talk. It is a matter of spiritual power. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon will be darkened and the stars will no longer shine. The stars represent angels, people's souls, as they're supposed to be angels as they fell out of grace. The sun represents the bridegroom, Psalm 19. So we see that the world is being darkened as people keep reproducing evil. Just like I've been shunned by attractive females for many years, and a bunch of gays and unattractive females used to plot to try to get me to settle. Now gays just harass me every day. And they still harass me once in a while about trying to get me to settle, what have you. And the word settle is a play on words for set. El and set, okay, is the deity of the principles of Egypt in Egypt. And we get the word Satan, right, which is a play on words for set in. The Lord will roar from Zion and thunder from Jerusalem. The earth and the heavens will tremble. But the Lord will be a refuge for his people, a stronghold for the people of Israel. It goes on to say in verse 22, I'm running out of time here. Shall I leave their innocent blood unavenged? No, I will not. The Lord dwells in Zion. So I'm going to end this by saying the $1 million question here is when it comes to Maya and Journey and Amari. The $1 million question is the Amari question. It's the church question. What happens when people do not obey God through me, but instead they obey merely their parents or the churches? What happens when you don't bring the children to me? Are you sacrificing them to Baal? Why or why not? I'll give you this chance to make your case. Why do you believe that they deserve to go to heaven? being cute and nice looking is not enough. Did their parents firmly put them on the track to obey God through me? Are there parents like the people in this community, in Morgan Hill, in San Jose, and Santa Clara County, who do not obey God through me? What makes them different? What makes them different from the people who are on the broad path to destruction? Please, by all means, make your case.